Hello, my name is Lillian Reider, and I wanted to share with you different techniques that have improved my students, either through teaching them how to read, through movement or color, lights, multisensory devices and strategies. And what I'm going to go over today is psychomotor processing method, which is abbreviation PMPM for psychomotor processing method. And what happened is I taught this little girl that was shot in the head when she was 9 months old, and the different neurologists that her parents had taken to her to be evaluated, all of them said that she'll never be able to read. So what I did was I started out, first of all, by having her do crawling exercises on a table. And since half her body was paralyzed, I had to push her up to get her crawling on the right side, because that was the side that was paralyzed, as a prerequisite to teaching her how to move out words. And the first thing I did with her is I put up the word mommy. And I would say, when you see mommy, what does mommy do? So she would come up and she would hug me like this. And then after that, I would have her sit in this chair, and I would sit here, and I would have her move out mommy and the hugging, and I would have her look at the word mommy, and I would point to it to see that she understood that. And then I would erase that. And the next word I would put up would be daddy. And these would be words that would be associated that she could relate to, either persons or pets or anything that your child could relate to at home. And when I said to her, what does daddy do when you see daddy? And she would get up and she'd go like this, spank herself. And so what I would do is then I would mix them up. I would put maybe, for example, daddy first and then mommy under here. And I would have her sit here and I would have her look at him, and I would point to the first one and she wouldn't know what the word was. So I would say, move it out, show me what daddy does. And then that's when she couldn't recognize it until she moved it out by spanking herself. And then I would have her repeat after me, after daddy. I would have her repeat mommy. And I said, what does mommy do when you see her? And then I said, act it out, since you don't know what the word is. And so she would come up and she would hug me, like what a mommy would do. And then after she was able to differentiate between the daddy and the mommy, by the way, she was 5 years old when I was working with her. And I would do the next word, maybe would be baby, that we did. And I would say, move it out. And so she would pretend like she's rocking the baby. And then the next word, after she couldn't recognize it, I would add mommy, daddy, and baby and mix them up, and then have her move it out so that she would recognize the word. And then the next one would be, and if you notice, I'm using capital letters until she learns to recognize them first. And doggy. And then I would say, what is this word? And she wouldn't know it. So I would say, well, add to that. So she would get down and she'd pretend like she's petting a doggy. She would pretend, we wouldn't have a doggy here, but I'd have this for another lesson. But she would pretend like she's petting her doggy, and then she would recognize the word doggy. And so that's, and within 4 months, I taught her to read 22 words. And this was the learning center that I worked at. And after that, I never saw her after that. But anyways, that concludes the lesson on psychomotor processing method. For further information on my book, my website is prekspecialed.com, and the name of my book is A Teaching Guide for ELS, which is Early Learning Skills, K, Kindergarten, SLD, Specific Learning Disabilities, Pre-K, and K, Autism.